أعوذ بالله من الشر الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارك حبيبه وصفيه وسيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وآل الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Mubarakah Tawbah said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu attaqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. O you who believe, be mindful of God, be God conscious, and stand wa kunu ma'as sadiqin, and be with those who are truthful, or honest, sadiqin. In another verse related to being truthful, said Surah Al-An'am, verses 119, قال الله هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه ذلك الفوز العظيم. God will say, this is a day when the truthful will benefit from their truthfulness. They will have gardens graced with flowing streams, there to remain forever. God is pleased with them, and they with him. And that is a supreme triumph, Fawzul Azim, the great triumph. Also, Surah Al-Zumar, وَالَّذِي جَاءَ بِالصِّدْقِ وَصَدَقَ بِهِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُتَّقُونَ. It is the one who brings the truth and the one who accepts it as true, who are mindful of God. So one of the signs of being muttaqi or being God conscious is being truthful, being honest. لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ ذَلِكَ الْجَزَاءُ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. They have everything they wish for with their Lord. Such is the reward of those who do good. Muhsinin. It's not just good, but beautiful and good. Muhsinin. So these verses talks about sadq, being truthful, being honest. And Quran, there are many verses of Quran, beside those few which I recited to you, talks about this very important subject. One of the characteristics of all the prophets and all, the believers and the prophets and so on, has been that they were honest. They were famous for being honest and truthful. And then the truthfulness and honesty, it kind of permeates in all parts of our lives in order to have a good life. One, in our one-on-one relationship with our significant others, with our children, with our family, and then with the community, greater community, and then with the whole society. Because without being honest and without telling the truth, there is no trust. Trust comes from being honest and truthful with one another. And without trust, really nothing functions, really, because if I am always suspicious that, are you, telling me the truth? Are you doing the right act? Are you being honest with me? Or politicians tell me the truth, or my clergy giving the truth? Nothing really stands up. The trust, which is really the glue, is kind of the glue of the society, because we are societal people. This whole cities and the whole societies and countries and whatever companies and where we work, the main glue that makes it work is really the trust. And without the trust, really nothing functions very well, and the chaos will occur. So being honest and truthful, as I said, and then there are several levels. One is we have to be truthful when we talk, truthful of speech. When we talk to one another, we have to be truthful. That doesn't mean that, I always have to tell everybody what is in my mind. That's not being truthful. And sometimes, you sometimes it's not good to say everything that you want, but there is, basically we try to be truthful one another when we talk. We don't try to deceive one another in our interactions, in our commerce, and that's what Quran has asked us. The second level is the truth or the honesty between what we say and what we act. It's not, I can say, it's great that we should donate money to the poor, but I won't, don't act upon it. I hoard all the money for myself. So that doesn't work. So you have to be not only be truthful on your talk, but be truthful with your action. So relationship between your talk, your speech, also your action. And also most kind of important from religious perspective, from Islamic perspective, is we have to be truthful in our thinking, in our niyyah. So when I am, making a donation, I'm not just doing it to show off and deceive other people. I'm doing it because I want to satisfy my duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I want him to be happy for what I'm doing, or also to help the society and other human being, not to deceive others. The same is true for all, ibadah, for our prayers, for our fasting. You have to be truthful. Our niyyah, our intentions has to be not to deceive others, but be truthful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then also, as I said, any community wants to be successful. One of the prerequisites of a successful community is being truthful and trust and having the trust between all the members of the society. And there are many sayings of also the hadith from the Prophet and then from the Imams about being truthful. The Prophet subhanahu wa ta'ala says, a truth is a adornment of speech. Imam Sadiq has said, do not deceive by their very much offering of prayer and observance of fasting. In fact, prayers and fasting have become habits that they feel desolate if they omit them. You should test them by their truthfulness and fulfillment of trust. So they say a sign of being a religious or true mu'min is not just prayer and fasting, because sometimes after doing it 10 years, it becomes like a habit. If you don't do it, you don't feel right. You're just doing it as a habit. Really, the true test is, are they truthful? Are they always telling the truth? Are they honest? And also, are they fulfillment of their trust? So if they make a promise that I will do such a thing, are they fulfilling their promise or not? One of the greatest sign or greatest names of the Prophet, even before he became a prophet, was Amin. Amin means someone who's trustworthy. We can give a lot of money or whatever, we trust him and we know he will return it to us. Whenever he promises, he fulfills his promise. So, and then they are saying from Ali alayhi salam, it says the relationship between truth and religion is like between the head and the body. So without the truth, really, without your head, the body really doesn't function. So without the truth, our religion are not really, cannot stand up by itself. And then another saying is truth is one of the most important pillars of faith. And then there are many other things that I want to take time. So unfortunately, at these times, as you know, with the advent of social media and everything else that has happened the past, few decades, couple of decades, especially the past 10 years, the truth has become a kind of funny term. The alternative truth, they call it, misinformation, fake truth. So there are many names for it. But I will discuss in my second khutbah that this has been going on for a long time. I mean, it goes back to historical times, but it has become a very acute problem because of the technology, because all of us carry a smartphone, which is a conduit for all these misinformation. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين صلى الله على محمد وعلى محمد. So, in the first khutbah, we briefly talked about the truth, the importance of truth from Islamic perspective. Very, very short introduction. You can go find many other verses from Quran and many other hadiths, and but just a little talk about the importance of it. The second part of khutbah I want to talk about. So, what is taking place in the society? A little bit. So unfortunately, remember 1 year ago at this point, almost on January 6th, 1 year and 1 day ago, there was this whole attack on the US Capitol, Washington, D.C., and basically it was one of the something that I never thought would happen in the United States. Democracy, this type of government. But it happened, and things not only got better, but has gotten worse. So the division in society, the polarization, and the spread of misinformation has gotten worse. I never thought, for example, in this society, with all the science, all the universities, only 60% of people have been vaccinated by this point. Many other societies have vaccinated 80, 90% of their people, in Europe, but here is only 60%, mainly because of a lot of misinformation and lies, basically spread through social media about, let's say, vaccination. Yeah, 10%, 15%, it's always 10% who are, for whatever various reason, they don't want to get vaccinated. But 6% not being only being vaccinated, that's kind of, to me, very disheartening. So the question is, what's taking place? What's going on? So one thing we have to look at is what we call, they are not using it, these terms the past few years, but now they start using it. It's really the effect of what is propaganda. Propaganda, what it means, and what is the impact of propaganda on us. So propaganda, the definition is a communication that is primarily used to influence an audience and further an agenda. So there you have to have an agenda. You're not just, giving information to tell people about something's happening. It's not telling the truth or discussing. You have an agenda. That means you have a purpose, for propaganda, which may not be objective and may be selectively presenting facts to encourage a particular synthesis or perception, or using loaded language to produce an emotional rather than a rational response to the information that is being presented. That's another very distinction of propaganda. It appeals to emotion, so it triggers all the emotion. It doesn't try to persuade you rationally, but it tries to kind of push your emotional buttons to do what they want to do, or whatever is the agenda. So he has another definition is the expression of opinions or actions carried out deliberately by individuals or groups with a view to influencing the opinions or actions of other individuals or groups for predetermined ends and truly psychological manipulation. The other thing is manipulations. You are try to psychologically manipulate you to do something. So what has taken place and historically this has been going on even before wherever the human activity started, wherever we had society, this propaganda started. The clearest type of propaganda, at least if you look at the Islamic history, time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? The propaganda that the Quraysh would make against the Prophet was his magician, he's performing all these with his poetry or Quran. They're trying to brainwash you, or he's just a poet, or he has gone mad, with his saying, and you should not even get close to him to listen to what he says. You should not even go listen to Quran, because that will impact you, and you fall under his spell, or his magic spell, time of all the prophets, you can say, they would make all these false claim against them. If you look at all the stories of the prophets, full of what were they claim against them. And in the time of the fight after Imam Ali alayhi salam had with Muawiyah, he would force all the people who would perform Friday prayer in many areas, before they start the prayer, or as part of the prayer, to say bad things about Imam Ali alayhi salam. That was like, and the type of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, after he was martyred by Yazid, they would go and say, these people were Khawarij. These people, wanted to overthrow the government, and those. So propaganda has been going on, from many years. But the difference is now, I think, what has made it so lethal, and we can see. And then by when the newspaper and the books and TV started, then basic technology has been used to propagate this propaganda much faster and much more effectively. And really the master of propaganda in at least 20th century was Nazi Germany. Hitler and Germany, they thought that they lost World War I to British, because British had a very effective propaganda. So when Hitler wrote his book, his famous book, he started really looking at how he can use propaganda to impact people. And then when he got the power, he started really using propaganda to really consolidate his power. So what are the hallmarks, the features of propaganda? As I said, it activates strong emotions. It simplifies information. You have very important information, but make it like one sentence, half a sentence thing. Rather than really discuss elaborately, all the information, you just simplify it. You appeal to the hopes, fears, and dreams of targeted audience, especially the fears that our country is being taken over by Sharia law. Our country is being taken over by this or that, or immigrants or that. So you put fear in people's heart, and also you attack opponent. You don't always don't say what's going on. You try to discredit your opponent in any way, shape you can. So all these things are part of propaganda. And what has made it really lethal in the past, we can say 10 years or 15 years, is they started using social media using psychological tools, social psychology, to make us buy more stuff, right? So you open up your your Google, you search for things, you have all these ads coming toward you, buy this, buy that, wherever you go. So they always tracking us, right? They know what we like, what we don't like. They track everything, and they have all these psychologists with PhDs. They know how to manipulate people, so they send you all these ads, targeted ads to you. Now they use it to sell stuff. Okay, it's capitalist society. It's not that great, but okay. Now they're using the same technique, started from before the Trump election, to use the same technique to send you misinformation about politics. So basically the same methods to sell stuff. Now they're using the same methods, psychological manipulations and whatever, to kind of divide us and kind of conflate the truth and send misinformation. And you reach a point, you say, okay, there's so many information coming, I don't care. I just want to shut down and stay in my bed or stay in my apartment. So basically, they have taken one person, to care about his society or his country, because of so much information. So there are more techniques are coming out, more different type of ways are coming out to really manipulate us. And one other thing that is very important is propaganda is you try to hide who's sending this propaganda. So most of propagandas, you don't know who made them. So they are not, so that's why you have all these software bots. They send you all this information to millions and billions of people, but you don't know their identity, who's behind them. So in order to really uncover propaganda or uncover the truth, one of the first thing you have to do is to find out who's behind that source, who sent me that thing, but they try to hide it and not let you know who's doing it. So there are a lot more information about propaganda, and fake news. I think it's misnomer because it's really propaganda. To me, it's another form of new name for propaganda that has been going on for many years. And if this society, American society, or other societies don't come up with the solutions, and there are ways to do it, come up with the solutions to attack it and to control this propaganda or misinformation, basically the society will fall apart. As I said, the society only we can live with each other if we have trust in each other and we say, we're all trying to tell the truth and achieve a better society. But if we cannot even agree that, on simple truth as vaccine is good for me, vaccine is like simplest thing you can believe in, and the research and so on, then nothing else will really hold and society will fall apart. So we should not really be deceived of, great buildings here or Apple company or Microsoft company. But if there are no trust in a society, those things will crumble very fast. And there are many examples of societies that there has been no trust within them. Loss of trust, loss of trust with each other that has crumbled very quickly. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب.